Hey, thanks for joining us today on this podcast or this webinar, wherever you're joining us. We really appreciate your willingness to spend a little bit of time with us. On today's episode, we're going to talk all things SOD, also known as superoxide dismutase. We talk about what it is as an antioxidant, why it is important in neutralizing free radicals, and the impact that it and other antioxidants play in your overall health and well-being. We're going to also discuss how two of our flagship products, Protandim NRF2 Synergizer and Liquid Collagen, both upregulate the body's natural production of SOD. What is not as often understood, or maybe a bit misunderstood, however, is that each of these products upregulate SOD through different cellular pathways. So we're going to talk about why that's important, why it's significant, and why you still want to take both products and how they differ between the two. It really is. It's a fascinating discussion, and one that we hope that you enjoy. So please feel free to comment in the chats. If you're watching this on the webinar or on Facebook, comment down below. If you're listening to us, you can always email questions to productquestions@lifevantage.com, and we'll answer those questions as quickly as we can. So again, thank you for listening. Thanks for enjoying and joining us tonight. Thanks for engaging in the content. And again, always a reminder, if this information is beneficial or useful to you, we encourage you to share it with others that might benefit from it as well. So with that, let's get started. Thank you for joining us. As mentioned in the intro, we're talking SOD today, or full name?
Superoxide dismutase.
Superoxide dismutase. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to, by the time we're done, we're going to get to where we're talking about that in relationship to Protandim NRF2 and our True Science Liquid Collagen, because we know that both products upregulate SOD.
Correct.
And so there's some questions about, do I need both, or why should I take both? And by the time we're done, we're going to have clarified that question, right?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Just pay attention. We're going to get there.
In case you think there's going to be doubt, but there could be a surprise at the end.
Ooh, a little curveball at the end. Okay, let's do this. But before we get all the way there, we need to set the stage and help the audience understand SOD. We know that that's a natural antioxidant the body produces. Antioxidants address free radicals and kind of neutralize those. So let's help just build some definitions. What are free radicals? Why do they occur? What happens if they're left unchecked? Let's kind of set the stage.
So what free radicals are, they're highly unstable molecules. And they really are made by the body naturally through normal metabolic processes. The problem comes is when they're not quenched or they don't react with something to neutralize them. If they are left unchecked, they are able to go throughout the body and react with other molecules that can actually cause harm.
Okay, so let's go back even further. A natural process, breathing, right? Just a metabolic process of breathing. Sometimes they're caused by activity and exercise, or just toxins in the environment. So. But what is it specifically? So it's a rogue molecule.
Yeah. So what'll happen is you'll start with something maybe like water. Then you have a process happen. And when you have a process, molecules are changing around to form new molecules. You never lose matter. So that's going back to your physics class.
Well, those of us that paid attention in physics.
Yes, those who paid attention.
Okay.
You can never get rid of it, so it always has to go somewhere.
Okay.
And so if one molecule is formed, sometimes there is a rogue element that is highly reactive because it was used to being with its buddy in this larger molecule. It was nice and stable and happy there.
Yeah.
It got divorced as the other one went to go find another molecule to form a bigger molecule with. Okay. And now it's alone and very reactive.
And so it is moving throughout the cell or the body, or both? Both. So it's moving around.
It depends on where the original reaction was happening.
Okay. And it's looking to partner up with something so
it wants to react with something. And so the problem comes when it reacts with something negatively, and then you get these other reactions. But like you mentioned, it can come from many sources. So it can come from just like normal breathing, normal reactions. Yeah. But it can also be increased by UV, environmental toxins, food we're eating. Yep. And it's when these extra outside sources are adding to the amount of free radicals that are being created, that's when we start running into some issues.
Yeah. So the formation of free radicals is just a natural outcome or byproduct of normal metabolic processes.
Exactly.
And the issue with free radicals then is when the body's unable to address them through its natural systems.
Correct. And those natural systems are antioxidants.
Yeah.
They come in many different forms, and essentially what they do through different reactions is they neutralize those threats and turn them into something that's harmless that can be removed from the body.
So what, and I realize that we need to be sensitive in the way we talk about this and not to imply certain claims, but if free radicals are left unaddressed and the body's out of balance, right? There's more free radicals than the body's natural antioxidant systems can address. What's the outcome? Like what happens short term and long term?
Yeah. So short term, it's going to be cellular stress left unchecked.
Okay.
So your body is going to be in this constant fight mode and not be able to do its normal processes the way it should be. So it's not being able to function optimally.
Yep.
Longer term, it could lead to lots of different issues with your different bodily systems and ultimately what we think of as aging, which is a slowing down of your processes a process that you can really feel and you can see.
Yeah. So certainly it's detrimental to our overall health and well-being if we can't keep those things in check. The remarkable thing about the body is the body has natural innate systems that neutralize.
These natural protective systems in order to combat these free radicals, because your body is an amazing thing. It's been put together amazingly.
Amazing organism, right?
Exactly, and everything works together. And so if these free radicals are generated by natural processes, your body's like, here's something to take care of that. And if everything's working in harmony, perfect. You're not going to run into these negative effects.
So let's shift and talk about the body's like the natural antioxidants, because there are multiple.
There are so many.
And just based on the conversation that you and I were having earlier this week, each kind of has these are my words, the way I understood it, a different function or addresses a different concern.
They're looking at different types of free radicals, and they are perfectly designed to neutralize them. And often some of our natural antioxidants will work together. And so one will break down a harmful molecule into some other submolecules, but then you'll need a further antioxidant to then break down those byproducts.
Okay.
So it's a chain reaction where you can't just have one antioxidant source.
Yeah.
You need all of them working together in harmony for this defense system.
Okay, and just list off a couple of.
So we have Hemox 1. That specifically works on something called free heme that comes from hemoglobin, so red blood cells.
Okay.
And that comes off when there's stress.
Yep.
And that can actually cause quite a few negative effects within the body.
I think I have an overabundance of that one.
It's cytotoxic, so negative to your cells. We also have SOD2, which is part of this discussion. And really where that's kind of focusing is working on superoxide free radicals.
Yep.
Then we have catalase and we have glutathione peroxidase, and both of those are really good at breaking down hydrogen peroxide in different parts of the cells to water and other molecules that are not harmful to your system that can be excreted.
So four different antioxidants that the body naturally produces. Each one of them.
These are four key ones.
Yeah, key ones, right? And there's more.
Exactly, but we don't want to go into everyone because that gets overwhelming. But these are four that we talk about quite frequently that actually partner together.
Yeah. Okay. So that there's I guess some synergy. If I can
Yes,
use
so
that
your
word.
actually your SOD2, your catalase, and your glutathione peroxidase are actually known as kind of this first line antioxidant defense. So they're some of the first ones that will react with these free radicals.
Okay.
There's multi-layers to that antioxidant defense, but they're some of those first line players.
So talk maybe a little bit specifically about SOD. What is its function? And then we'll get into specifically SOD as it relates to NRF2 and liquid collagen.
So there's multiple SODs, but what we're talking about specifically is SOD2.
Okay.
And it is created to neutralize superoxide free radicals. And what those just come from is normal oxygen metabolism. So you have oxygen in your body, you need it.
Yep.
And it's just part of those processes. You end up getting these superoxide free radicals that would then react with other processes in the body, so they need to be neutralized.
And is that just part of just the respiratory process? Just
Exactly.
literally drawing air
Yes.
in or oxygen in?
Yeah, and
and
oxygen's
expel-
involved in so many different systems, so it's
Okay.
just part of that.
Yep.
And so this is a free radical that comes as those different reactions happens, completely normal, so this then neutralizes superoxide. But what then happens is those superoxides are actually broken down into oxygen and hydrogen peroxide. Now, oxygen, all good.
Okay.
Hydrogen peroxide, not so good.
Yep.
That's where these other antioxidants actually come in. So that's catalase and glutathione peroxidase, and they both break down hydrogen peroxide
Okay.
specifically. So if you just had SOD2, you would not be able to take care of that hydrogen peroxide that's produced from its reaction. You need these other antioxidants to come in and finish the reaction so that you have nothing left, none of these free radicals left to kind of wreak havoc within your body.
Okay, so that's where the partnership comes.
Exactly,
comes in.
exactly. And even the catalase and the glutathione peroxidase, like for example, catalase is not found within the mitochondria. And so you're not getting that happening there, so that's why you need your glutathione peroxidase. So they're working even in different parts of the cells where one's present and one's not, and they're breaking them into different harmless byproducts.
Okay, that's remarkable.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I was just spending time reading all about it the other day just because I like whenever I don't have that much free time, but when I do, I like to dig deep and just remind myself of everything and just read about all the processes.
She doesn't have much free time, but when she does, she geeks out on
I do.
science.
It was in between meetings a couple of days ago, and I was just refreshing myself on all of these processes and how everything links together, and it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it is remarkable. It's really remarkable. So, okay, when we rolled out liquid collagen back in June, well, like over a year ago, which is crazy, we talked about the fact that liquid collagen upregulates the SOD production.
Which is great.
Yeah, and prior to that, we already knew that NRF2 was doing the same thing.
Correct.
So the natural question for most when they see that is, okay, so if both of them are upregulating SOD, do I need both?
Exactly.
And the answer is yes.
It is.
But help us understand why.
Yes, and we'll talk about more reasons why you should take the combination together than just this.
Yeah, just purely
This is
as it relates to SOD. Yeah.
And also, we can't forget catalase, because there was a clinical on the liquid collagen actives that did show an increase in catalase as well. I think the first thing we need to note is that liquid collagen is not creating these natural antioxidants in your body through the NRF2 pathway.
Okay.
And we actually didn't know that until we dug in and did the RNA sequencing for our NRF2 and collagen study. So part of that is we looked at the two products together, but we also looked at NRF2 and liquid collagen alone in fibroblasts. And with the RNA sequencing, just to remind everyone, we looked at every single gene that was expressed either up or down within fibroblast, or these cell types found throughout connective tissue that make up connective tissue.
Yep.
And so one thing we did not see with liquid collagen alone, there's no NRF2 activation. A lot of the key markers along that, a lot of the other key antioxidants were not upregulated as well.
Okay.
But you did see that upregulation of SOD. So obviously, looking at it mechanistically, it's not going through that NRF2 pathway that we very specifically know that Protandim NRF2 works through.
And why is that important?
See, and not only just for this, but in general, if you want to approach a problem and be able to solve it for most people and solve it well and really kind of give yourself an insurance policy that you're going to get good results, you need to approach a problem through multiple ways.
Yeah.
And that's true with life as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to you want to look at things through multiple lenses. And so by tackling the increase in the activation of SOD through multiple mechanisms, there is more of a guarantee that more people will experience the benefits of this increased antioxidant.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, that we formulate the products in such a way that they will have an impact, but everybody's biology is different.
So much, and a lot of reasons that they may be lower in SOD could be different. It could be different systems that are not working as efficiently.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the same for everybody because there's different environmental factors, different diets, different genetics. And so by looking at it through different mechanisms, there's more of an opportunity to actually address the root of the problem.
Okay. So, okay, so Nerf2 upregulates SOD through the Nerf2 pathway.
Correct.
Liquid collagen is outside of the Nerf2 pathway.
Correct. And we're still looking at exactly how it upregulates it, but we know for certain that it's not through that pathway.
Not through the same
It's working
pathway.
through different mechanisms.
And I love the way you're saying this, is that it's just a more robust approach to addressing free
Yes.
radicals because it's doing it through multiple directions. I mean, anytime you're trying to neutralize, I mean, again, to your point, now at this point I'm just repeating what you were saying, but anytime you're neutralizing a threat or something that is harmful, you're going to take a multifaceted approach,
Exactly.
which is
It's
exactly
just,
what this is.
smarter. It's just
Yeah.
smarter and just better chances of seeing positive results.
Okay. I believe when we were talking about this earlier, SOD that is upregulated through Nerf2 pathway and the SOD upregulation from liquid collagen, are they addressing different free radicals in the body, or are they addressing?
They'll address the same. So
The
SOD2 is going to work through the normal pathways
Okay.
that it does.
Okay.
This is just upregulating that specific antioxidant through two different ways.
Yep.
So we're getting to the same end result through two different pathways.
Got it. Okay, same end result, and then they're there to address the antioxidants or those free radicals that are causing havoc. Anything else about the difference between Nerf2 and liquid collagen that we should understand?
I think those are the main differences. I mean, we could go a little bit into, we've looked at different cell types, and Nerf2 specifically, we see a lot of these antioxidants upregulated in liver, kidney, endothelial cells, where we've mostly looked at liquid collagen in fibroblast cells. We've seen quite a bit of upregulation of antioxidants as well for Protandim Nerf2 and fibroblasts, but we do see it a little bit lower in SOD for Protandim and fibroblasts, and that's why it's beautiful to have liquid collagen that does so well in fibroblasts. So
Yeah.
the two together, you get this wonderful synergy or wonderful coverage of all the different cell types as well
Yeah.
as the sources of creating SOD2.
Okay, and you mentioned catalase.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we mentioned what catalase does is that it's part of breaking down the hydrogen peroxide that comes, and there's other things it does, but as a resultant of the SOD, neutralization of free radicals of superoxide. We did see it in blood work in participants in a study with one of the key ingredients in liquid collagen. They did see a significant upregulation of the catalase. We did not see any other antioxidants specifically in that one. And once again, that's why it's wonderful that we have Protandim Nerf2 as well. And we did not see a significant upregulation of catalase specifically in fibroblasts, but we did see it with
So we
Nerf2.
see an upregulation of catalase with liquid collagen, and we see that with Nerf2 as well.
Agreed.
And the
And once again, through different pathways,
different pathways.
because we're not going through the Nerf2 pathway
Yeah.
with our liquid collagen. So
Yeah.
once again, this multifaceted approach.
Yeah, but I guess the takeaway then is that both products are upregulating both SOD
Exactly.
and
And certain
catalase.
have certain strengths and others have strengths other way. And so together you just have this really widespread coverage.
Yeah.
So once again, it really increasing your chances of, and the certainty of seeing good results
Yeah.
with this combination of products.
And for the individual that is watching that or listening to this that's not as familiar with LifeVantage
Yeah.
and our claims about antioxidant production, free radical decreasing, what's the takeaway for the individual that's listening to this right now? Like, why should that individual care about free radicals and the fact that they are neutralized with these products?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to what do free radicals do? And I don't think we got there a little bit, but we didn't quite. So we talked about how it looks like systems slowing down and it looks like aging. And it goes back, and we've said this on here before, but if you're new, you haven't heard it, is that aging, we take it as, or the signs of aging, we take it as inevitable. You are going to feel worse, everything's going to work slower, you're not going to be as optimal as you were when you were younger, and we just accept it, that's aging. But then the question comes back to, do you have to accept it?
Do I have to accept
because
that?
the result of unchecked free radicals is that you will see this slowing down. You will see these classic signs of aging. And one thing I did not mention earlier is that I did mention that free radicals, you have the natural free radicals, and then you have increased free radicals from other stress sources that are external, and that's constantly increasing because of the world we live in. But the thing I did not mention earlier is that your natural antioxidants are decreasing in your body as you age.
Okay.
And so you have these two opposing forces, and they're not working together, so you're just going to see that increased damage. So you need to be able to increase your natural antioxidants to be able to combat those free radicals, or those systems will continue to slow down. You will experience all of those classic signs of aging. And even as you're living longer and you're getting older, you're just not having that quality of life that you would like.
And that imbalance where free radicals start to outnumber the number of antioxidants, that and the body's natural ability to quench or neutralize those free radicals, that starts to occur in basically your 20s, right? That's where we see that imbalance start to. So, and the only reason I bring that up is just that these products are relevant
to everyone.
Yeah, sometimes we use that word anti-aging, and we have a tendency to think old people.
Hey, I'm in my 30s, and it's very much a mindset you have. You don't want to admit that you need those products. The same with like topical products for wrinkles. You're like, no, these are just like, there's nothing there. There's nothing to see.
Look like I did
because
in
it's
high
almost like
school.
admitting that you're aging.
Yeah.
But if we look at this as, this is your kind of your preventative strategy, this is going to happen, and this is so you can keep your vibrance that you have now in your 20s.
Yeah.
Don't you want to keep that longer?
Yeah.
So that as you grow older, as your number of your age increases, your functionality is not decreasing. You're able to do the things you want to do.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what I want to do when my kids are out of the house and living their own lives, I want to be able to just celebrate that time. But if I'm feeling all run down and I can't do anything anymore, then I don't have that opportunity.
Yeah, that quality of life.
So I think the quality of life is the answer. Why do you want to take this? You want to ensure that you're going to have the quality of life that you have now. Or, I mean, if you're a little bit older, don't you want the quality of life that you used to have?
Had in your youth.
Exactly.
Yeah, and maybe for those that are watching that want to explore a little bit more about and free radicals and antioxidants, where's a good place to go look? Like where should they direct their work, their research?
So a good place to start first is our website, and we do have blogs that are attached to that do go into some of those subjects on a good beginning level. It gives you a place to start. Yep. Then if you want to dive in a little deeper, that's where something like PubMed is a wonderful resource. Yeah. And if you read a lot of the things that have been published on Protandim Nerve 2, there's a lot of background on free radicals and antioxidants. That's included as the introduction and some of the background information for those studies.
So if I went to PubMed, and it's pubmed.gov.
Yes.
Yeah, pubmed.gov, and then just there's a search bar there. I could just search antioxidants or free radicals.
Endogenous or natural antioxidants.
Okay. I can also search Protandim, right?
Yes, and there you're going to find 30 plus studies, which is one of the amazing things that makes Protandim Nerve 2 Synergizers so unique. Yeah. Is that you look at anything else out there and you're not going to see that number of studies done independently.
Yeah. I think that the takeaway for me is free radicals and antioxidants can be detrimental to our health long term, and we have the ability to neutralize those and reduce them. And with Protandim, right, we reduce it by 40% on average of 40% in 30 days. That's remarkable. And if you take time to go back and study and realize what it is that free radicals are already doing if left unchecked, and anyways, you'll clearly realize that's something that needs to be addressed and needs to be reduced.
I think it's one of those silent things that you don't necessarily know is the root cause of what you're experiencing. Yeah. And so it's kind of one of those silent things that but ends up making such an impact on your life.
Yeah. And truly remarkable that we've got two different products unrelated to one another that are upregulating both SOD and catalase.
Through
They're doing it
different
different ways
mechanisms.
and just reinforcing the body's ability. That's the other thing, and maybe just so that it's perfectly clear, we're not supplementing
No.
SOD or catalase. We're not trying to give you more to make up for what the body is lacking. We're literally, with the materials in those two formulas, getting the body to naturally produce more.
Yes.
And address the free radicals
Exactly,
that
and
are
that's
running
that
wild.
LifeVantage difference of activation,
Yeah.
not providing these Band-Aid approaches
Yeah.
or solutions to problems, not just addressing symptoms, but going to the root of the problem, understanding the mechanisms of what's happening so we can understand where do we need to kind of help support the body
Yeah.
in these processes so
Yeah.
they're working the way that they used to.
I love it. Such a fun value proposition, such an amazing, remarkable thing that we're doing with science here to actually
Yes.
allow the body to naturally turn on the way it should and work the way it should. Yep.
Exactly. Helping just come alongside it.
Yeah. What do you have in your notes that you wanted to share that maybe we didn't share yet?
I think the only other thing that I want to remind people while we're talking about these two products is we can't forget that beyond just this, both of them working on SOD2, both of them working on catalase, as we have this beautiful study of the two just showing their impact on the cellular stress cycle
Yeah.
and how they help break that cellular stress cycle so that your body is able to respond better to what it faces every single day.
Yeah, yeah. It is remarkable. And there are more study, they can find all about that study. There's a write-up on it on the webpage,
There
right?
is.
If they go to Healthy Glow product page and then scroll
at
to
the
the bottom,
bottom.
there's an info sheet. They can
That'll
click
be
there.
all the information you ever want. But then if you want kind of the more conversational version of that, that's when you go back and look at the old Activate Thursday where we
yeah.
talked about it. You can look at Facebook. It might be a little easier to find it on the YouTube playlist for Activate Thursday and go back because I think that was a good discussion breaking down the particulars of that study and why you should take these products. And I think you will, if you watch that, you're going to take the two products at the end of it.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. No excuse. You got to take those two products after listening to that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, Lisa, great explanation as always. Well done. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us this evening or listening. If you're listening, we appreciate you being part of this and appreciate your all the time you spend joining to watch these, and hopefully it's always time well spent. So thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening or however you're listening to and engaging with this content. We appreciate your attention. We hope that the information was valuable and beneficial to you this evening. The one thing that I found most empowering or important as I listened to as we had the conversation, I did listen to it, but as we had the conversation, was really the importance of both products, both Protandim Nerve 2 Synergizer and Liquid Collagen, upregulating SOD, but through different pathways. That really kind of resonated with me. It felt like it's a proactive approach to maintaining health and making sure that we are addressing those free radicals however it can happen through the different pathways. So really informative, it's helpful. It just kind of opened my mind to how antioxidants work and how our body works and how it just is remarkable and does so many different things in different ways to ensure our health and vitality. So that was my takeaway. I hope it was important or beneficial for you. And I'd like to know what your top takeaway was. So comment below or again, email us at Product Questions. Let me know what you learned from this podcast and from this webinar, and we'll make sure that we prepare the same type of content for the future. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.